Hey everyone, thanks for joining us today for our monthly webinar. This month we're going to be talking about qualifying and selling company stores. And so basically we'll be kind of going over some stuff that'll help you get to know what your clients are needing and if they are a good candidate for a company store. So before we get started, I do have a few things that I want to point out, just kind of some housekeeping things before we jump into the content, and this will also give people a little bit more time to continue logging in. First of all, I want to let everybody know that you do have a question box there, a question comment box. So feel free throughout today's presentation to ask any questions that you might have at any time. We get to the questions at the end of the presentation. Usually we try to get through all of them, but sometimes we don't have enough time to get through all of them. And so, so if you just pop your question in there, then we'll be sure to send you a follow-up email no matter what. That way, if we don't get to your question, we can still start a conversation about it and kind of go back and forth and make sure that we answer what you're wanting. And even if we do get to your question, we still like to follow up with you in an email. That way you have it in writing and you can refer back to it, and you'll also have our contact information in case anything else comes to mind. So so one thing, be aware of the question box and just feel free to say anything throughout the webinar. We're here monitoring that. Another thing that I want to point out today is that you do have a handout made available, and in that handout there's a couple of sheets in there that we find might help you out through the sales process, some questions that you can ask your clients to kind of dig into the specifics of what they're needing from their online store. And then we also have some tips for you whenever you're presenting a store solution, just some major stuff that we like to hit on and make sure that you hit on. That way your client kind of fully understands what they're what they're seeing. And then there's also links in those PDF files. So there's some links to various areas of our website that you might find helpful. So keep that in mind, download that file and take it with you whenever the presentation is done. All right, so with that, we'll go ahead and get started. So on the line today, you have myself. I'm Lucy Taylor. I'm the marketing manager here at Bright Stores. And then giving today's main presentation is our Vice President, Tanya Ignasic. And I'm going to hand it over to Tanya to just tell you a little bit more about who we are and what we do here at Bright Stores.
Hi, everybody, and thanks, Lucy. So Bright Stores is a company store and online site store solution provider specific to the promotional products industry. We have been in this industry since the 90s and even longer in other capacities. And we are specific to this industry, to technology, to software, to company stores. We really understand what it takes to build, launch, and run successful company stores within this industry. So because of that, we understand promo industry, we understand the technology necessary to bring forward these company stores, and we just get the whole promotional products distributor place in this process as well. So I think Bright Stores is a great solution, a great company to talk to when you're looking for a promotional product store of any kind, because we definitely get what it takes to bring forward e-commerce in the promotional products industry. So been doing this a long time. We've got many, many, many thousands of company stores, and we love to share our experience and help you out in whatever way we can with the information that we might be able to provide.
Okay, so back to this month's topic, we'll be talking about qualifying and selling company stores. So we're going to go over, what a company store is. We'll touch on that. And we'll talk about 5 reasons that you should be offering company stores to your clients, 5 good reasons to get them started. And then, some stuff about how to qualify them and make sure that they're a good fit before you jump into building a store for them, how to present a solution, and what happens once you close the sale, what are the next steps. So that's going to be today's presentation. So I'm going to go ahead and give it back to Tanya to just take it away.
All right. So let's start by talking about a company store. What is a company store? So honestly, with our company, Bright Sites, there are a variety of different online solutions and even store solutions that provide you a variety of ways to allow your customer and their employees and affiliates and so forth to order online. But today we're going to focus on a company store. So what is a company store? Well, a company store is an e-commerce tool or site specific for the promotional products industry that offers your client the ability to build a store, design a store, brand a store for them, and promote ordering by their internal employees, affiliates, and so forth to come order their branded merchandise. So there are a variety of reasons why they might want a company store, and we're going to go into that in our presentation today. But the bottom line of what is a company store, it's a branded store specific for your client where they can buy their branded merchandise internally. So let's talk a little bit about the Bright Sites Company Store. So first off, the company store solution that we provide, gosh, if I could say one thing about it, it would be robust. There's an enormous amount of capability, flexibility, and design customization that can be done within the Bright Sites Company stores. The look and feel, the storefront is very professional, clean, and customizable. You have very flexible and customizable unlimited categories and products. We have some great features to really help run different programs within these company stores, like permission technology, a robust logo management feature, personalization. Our shopping cart and checkout process is very intuitive and also very flexible. There are a variety of payment methods, from credit cards to advanced payment methods, and a lot of controls that you can set up in there as well. And then once the orders are placed in your store, there's wonderful store management with reports and order management capabilities through the back end of the store. So overall, from the store front, when the end user client first gets to the store, to when you've completed and processed that order and everything in between, there are a lot of tools in the company store to really help you manage and run that program successfully. So what are some of the top reasons why you might want to offer a company store, or more importantly, why your client might need or desire to offer a company store to their internal employees? I'd say the number one reason why your client might want a company store is to create ordering efficiencies. Now, there are a lot of different efficiencies that come from running a company store, but honestly, providing a company store saves so much time for both your client, for their employees, and for you, the distributor. You can provide one central ordering location for your client's different departments or different locations or different programs they might be running, so that all of those employees can come into one central place to see their products, order their products, and place those orders quickly and easily online. You can manage what they have access to with permissions, allowing you to control access for those different users, so that different departments, let's say, or maybe different locations might have different access or privileges than the next. So it really lets you use the store, the software, to control that shopping experience for that user or that employee, which again makes it a really efficient tool to use. There's also a lot of capability within the Bright Sites Company Store for integration. So whether that's happening, for users, for employees to come into the store via a single sign-on, or orders to leave the store to an order management system, or updating inventory counts via integration, there are a lot of integration capabilities that you can utilize in the store that overall help you build, run, and provide a very efficient company store portal. So efficiency is really a huge reason why you want to offer and why your customer might want to use a company store. They save an enormous amount of time, and then therefore can put that time to something a lot more effective for them. Second reason that I've got here of why you might want to offer a company store, why your client might want a company store, is to maintain brand integrity or logo integrity. So there are a couple of areas that is relevant to as well. And the first thing that I think of is if you have a client that has locations all across the country, and these different locations have a guy that they go to get logoed merchandise, there's a really good chance that that logo is incredibly inconsistent across the country. So the corporate company has worked very hard to build their brand guidelines, to build this beautiful logo, how they want it to display on products, and then across the country, so many different distributors and decorators are taking that information and printing it or decorating it onto a product, and then the guy from New York has a very different looking logo than the guy from Los Angeles. So it really can be a sore spot with corporate branding guidelines when so many different points of contact are involved in decorating products across the country. A company store lets you have one central portal where all the orders run through. New York guy and Los Angeles guy can both come into the store, order their product, and their logos are going to be consistent regardless of where they're at in the country. So maintaining that logo integrity is really important, not only how they're decorated and where they're decorated, but what logos are available on what types of products, and gosh, it just goes on, as you know. But a company store really helps you control who's doing the decorating and how they're decorating it, and where they're decorating it, and the products that it's being decorated on, and the logos and the art, the graphics that they're using to decorate onto those products. And it just gives you the opportunity to become an expert in your client's branding and to then be able to control it to a point where it's satisfactory to the client and they're happy and they continue to order through this store because they're getting the results that they need with their brand guidelines. So also, an aside to that is that the company store is a wonderful opportunity to bring forward their branding in the way they design the store. So chances are your client has built a website and an online presence that they've worked very hard at, and the company store is just an extra tool to allow them to bring that brand awareness a step further through their company store interface. So these company stores can be custom designed to mimic their website, or they can be completely different. But let's take a look at a few examples to just give you a little bit of an idea about what some of these designs can be. So this first shot right here, it's a little bit off the beaten path, but you can see here they're carrying through their branding onto these delicious looking hamburger buns here. But this company has a definite image, and they're absolutely carrying that all the way through into their company store. Same thing here with Microsoft. It's very simple, very clean, but we all know Microsoft's colors, and you can see they bring them out in these crystals here on the right, which is a really cool, simple way to carry their branding through this online store. Weather Underground, again, their colors, their look, adventure, outdoors, it really brings their branding through into their company store here as well. Overall, just a really good example of ways that your stores can be branded to bring forward your logo, your colors, and your overall company vision of what your client wants their company to be represented for in a company store, or as in a company store. All right, so number 3 reason why your client might want a company store: to stay on budget. Spending control. Spending control is huge. So honestly, there are so many variations with what it is that your client wants to do in a company store as to how these payments are being made. So whether they put up a company store and the employees are coming in and paying with their own credit card, or whether the company is paying for these orders and we need the store to manage the spending, or a variety of those two options, or something different. There are some really great features in the Bright Sides Company store that help you build a store so that your client can manage their spending. So you can give users account balances to give them some spending up front, and the system will control those balances. You can give shared budgets. You can set up manager approval, so maybe orders go through a manager to approve it before it comes to you for fulfillment. You can set up custom payment methods so that perhaps you want to set up a store so that users can bill against a cost center code or a GL code or a purchase order or any other type of payment method they might need. For the ultimate in managing spending, maybe they want to integrate their store with Ariba or Coupa or another procurement system so that all their spending feeds through that third-party procurement system via punch-out integration. So we absolutely support that too. I guess the bottom line in this is that the company store can really help you control and manage spending in the store if that's what your client needs the store to do for them. And honestly, for larger companies, it oftentimes is a really important component of a company store. Also, after the fact, really good reporting so that you can provide your client with wonderful reporting on what their spending has been, how many people have ordered from their account balance, what budgets are left. You can really break down these reports in a variety of ways to provide your customer with great information on the spending that's going through their store. The Bright Sides Company Store also allows you to support a variety of different types of programs. So if your client comes to you and they are looking for a uniform program or maybe a reward and recognition program where they give everybody a certain dollar amount or a point balance that they can come redeem in the store. Maybe you, like I said, need an integrated store. We have a variety of different types of features and tools within these stores to really let you build up stores to support so many different types of programs. Heck, you could even mix programs into a single store. You can have just a regular company store, and within it, users can log in and redeem their award balance so that it can also be a reward store within that blanket company store. So really utilize the resources in these stores to provide multiple programs to really satisfy what your client is asking for, and in turn, allow you to be a more complete resource to help them manage what they need internally. Also, in a company store, you can provide great resources for the shoppers in the company store, again, creating another level of efficiencies by providing service and customer support directly from the storefront. So you can build up your store to have a page for FAQs. You can allow them to upload their own logos or spend or upload their own account balance. They can see their order history. They can see their budget information. So it really lets the shopper manage their own store, see their history, what they've ordered previously. And then, of course, you can also provide a contact us page so they can reach out to you if they have any questions. There are a lot of customizable pages in these stores. So if you did have, maybe you wanted to build up a size chart page, or maybe you wanted to build up a page on how to handle returns, you can absolutely do that. You can provide the shoppers in these stores with whatever specific information you think would be useful for them to help keep those calls from coming into your inbox and instead have them answer their questions directly through the storefront. It's just another great reason to have a company store to help support the end user shopper. So I've got here most importantly, and honestly, I really think that this is true. All of that boils down to the fact that you want to provide for your customer a tool to create these efficiencies and these spending controls and these logo controls, and to give your client a comfort level so that they're going to order with you. It locks in the relationship with your client. It allows you to provide them with all the functionality through their store, which in turn most often brings you those custom orders outside of the store, hopefully making you the exclusive distributor for your top clients. So I think the more you can provide them with these solutions, these tools to really show them that you're proactively looking for their best interests in mind, the more effective you'll become at servicing them, the better chance you'll have of becoming their exclusive distributor. So I love stores for really locking in those relationships because it's a wonderful service to offer. So now let's talk a little bit about qualifying prospects and clients for a company store. So you might have a lot of different clients that come to you asking for a company store, some of which maybe are a good fit or a good candidate for it, others that aren't. Luckily now we have different products that will allow you to provide more online ordering tools for more than just a company store user. But for a company store specifically, when is it right for your clients to have a company store? I get that call all the time where customers will say, what's the magic formula? And honestly, there really isn't one. Company stores can be a really great fit for small companies, big companies, and all the companies in between them. But the truth is that depending on what it is that that client is doing with you, what is their overall spend, what is the forecast for the volume through that store, what are they anticipating for how users are going to order in the store, how are they handling the product or the fulfillment of the store? There's so many questions. What's the overhead? How difficult is the client? So many questions that you want to ask yourself when you're considering taking on a client for a company store as to whether or not it's going to be worth it for you or not. But definitely consider in that if this client is bringing you orders outside of the company store and they're asking for a company store, you want to keep that in mind as well, because if they want it, they're going to get it from somebody, so it might as well be you. Sometimes also it's helpful to look and see if it makes sense for them to have a company store. You know, just putting up a company store because they want one, although it's important, and I just said that if you don't give it to them, somebody will, it also is smart to do your due diligence and determine if it makes sense. So are they receiving a lot of different orders from various places, various locations? Are people placing repeat orders? Is there a lot of repetition going on in the store? Are they requiring or requesting quick turnaround on orders? Are they placing orders using a variety of different payment methods and other tools and resources? Do the employees in the group and the people within the group need to order different products? Sometimes you can look at their ordering history to kind of see if a company store would be really helpful for them to create those efficiencies and manage that spending and manage the branding. So take a look at those things to determine if it makes sense or not. Another big question I get is who pays for the store? Honestly, I would say you do. And I'm going to say that I don't know my exact audience. I don't know what your scenario is. And so, of course, sometimes that won't make sense. But especially for larger programs and larger end clients, the bigger distributors are paying for these company stores. They're not passing that cost on. So there's a pretty good chance that if this is a potential account where there might be competition, your competition might not be passing on those charges. Not directly, at least, not as a line item that says company store hosting. So who pays for that store really, again, depends on some of those variables we were talking about in the spend and the orders that come outside of the store and all that kind of stuff. But basically, what your client is ordering with you, how much they're spending, the time and effort for you to build and manage the store, and the cost of what you're paying for the store versus what you're receiving from this client, what the anticipated spend is going to be over the coming year. You want to take all of that to consideration when you consider who pays for the store. Whether you eat those costs, whether you pass them on at cost, or whether you mark them up, you want to go into that decision with a little bit of research and a lot of thought to make sure that you're not doing yourself a disservice by passing that cost along. Another thing you need to determine is how are you going to handle the product. So sometimes this is one of the very first things you want to think about. If a client comes to you and says, hey, we want a company store, your thinking is going to be, all right, they need products, they want to come order them. What does that look like? Are we going to have an inventory? Are they going to pay for an inventory in advance? And we're going to need to put them on a shelf somewhere and put them in the store and let users come order. Can they order onesies, twosies? Can they order custom orders through the store? Are we going to drop ship from a supplier? Maybe it's a hybrid where there's inventory and custom orders going through the same store. That's very, very common, most common actually. What's least common is a full inventory store. So if it were a full inventory store, or even just a partial inventory store, you need to determine who's going to pay for the inventory and how, and that the end user, your client, needs to understand that as soon as their logo's on a product, that they own it. So however that's written in your contracts or shared in verbiage, custom logoed products are the ownership of your client. So you should never have the risk of loss in that scenario. But determining how you're going to handle those products is really important because that's going to really help you shape the program and how you want to manage it. A custom order store, gosh, if you have even one product that you want to offer in your store where you're going to go place that directly through your supplier, then you want to do a little research beforehand and find out which suppliers you're going to you want to work with. So work with suppliers on pricing and on the turnaround, on the decoration, if they're doing the decoration, if not, on the drop shipping to your decorator. Determine what your minimums are if needed. And then who is it that's finally doing the drop ship to the client? Is it the supplier who's also decorating, or is it a decoration house? And so thinking about those products, who you're going to work with through that process is really important, because once you have that determined, it really helps you get going with a store much more effectively. Another really important thing, this seems silly or trite, but you need buy-in. If your customer is asking you for a company store and it's one guy or one gal in the marketing department and they really think they need a company store, but the company as a whole isn't going to buy into it, you're not getting the commitment for promoting this company store, then it really could be a frustrating exercise, because, you know, if you build it and you put the store up there, it still takes people coming to the store to make it successful. So you want to find out, are you having that buy-in or that commitment from your client and their team? Maybe they will require that employees order their logoed products through the store, so it becomes like a corporate policy. So if all product purchases are going through the company store, that's absolutely going to help show you that there's a commitment there, and then there will be regular orders that are going to be coming through the store. Are your clients going to communicate to their employees to promote the store? You know, put out emails, or let you put out emails to their employees promoting visits to the company store? And just make sure they're invested in the solution, you know, that they understand that this is a really wonderful tool, but that it needs to be promoted by them and encouraged by them for their employees to take the clue and place orders through the store. Also, another point that might seem silly to you, but when do you walk away? So if a customer comes to you and they're asking for a company store, do you always say yes? I don't know. That's up to you, but I'm going to guess no. I'm going to guess that you will have some clients that you say no to. If their demands are too high, they don't spend enough money, they don't spend much money with you at all, they want you to buy their inventory, they don't want to offer good payment terms, or your profit margins are really tight. Gosh, these, among other things, can definitely be some red flags for you to say, you know, I don't know that a company store is quite right for you yet. Maybe we start with a different type of store and build up to a company store. So again, there are other store solutions that Bright Stores offers that might be a good starting point for clients like this. But for a true, robust company store like we've been talking about, it's okay to steer them in a different direction, especially if it just doesn't seem like it's going to be the right fit for them. So you've talked to a client, you've asked them some questions, you're confident that it makes sense for them, and you want to present to them a company store. Now, how do you go about presenting a store solution to those clients? Company store discovery is a great place to start. So before you ever show them a store, I think a wonderful thing to do is ask questions. So to me, the best questions are open-ended questions. So instead of saying, do you need A, yes or no, you say, tell me, why do you want the store? And let them answer. Let them tell you, well, we really want our employees to be able to come to this store and have a shopping experience that makes them feel like they're at Amazon, and whatever their explanation is, asking them these open-ended questions like why and who's going to use the store and how will you use the store and what do you see that shopping process to look like. Those open-ended questions really help them think about it and put some really good detailed information in the answers that they provide to you. So that's my number one suggestion on how to start the conversation, is with those general open-ended questions. Now, after you get through those, there are also tools and documents that we can provide, which we'll talk about in a minute, that can help guide you through some of those more specific questions, because sometimes they don't really know and they need a little prodding and a little guidance. And so certainly you want to be able to provide that to them when they need it. But starting with those really great general questions can really be a wonderful resource of gold information. The next thing I really think is wonderful in presenting a company store is to give them a demo. So seeing is believing, it truly is. And so you can sit there all day long and tell them about how great the company store is and how intuitive it is and how the design looks amazing. But the minute that they can actually see a store and get on their mouse and on their keyboard and click through it and experience it in person, they're going to get a true feeling about how the company store can look and operate. So presenting that for them is the perfect way to present a store. Sometimes this happens less and less, but for years people would say, I need a PowerPoint that I can give to my customer showing them how to go through the store. And I fought against that, and I've said, no, don't give them a PowerPoint that's static. Give them a company store that's living, that they can click on and that changes and moves and breathes, because then they're going to really be able to experience it. So we've got a lot of neutrally branded demo stores that you can share with your customer. And honestly, I think that's a really great way to present it, because they're not their client, it's not your client-specific branding, but it's a good-looking store that will give them an idea about how it can look and how it can work and what that whole flow is like. You can also create a company store specific for them. I know we go into this in a few slides anyway, but you can create a custom demo store, and that's good too. Sometimes it's a wonderful way to lock in that relationship if you go ahead and build it and provide it. But that can be tricky, because if you don't do it well, if you don't do it really well, then it can seem like you're not really making the effort you should be, and that you can't provide what they really want. So sometimes I think it's a little safe to just provide a neutrally branded demo store and let them experience it on their own, and just let them know it can be branded for them. When you go through a demo, you want to highlight any of the features that they might need, like maybe they need inventory tracking or manager approval. So be sure to go through those in that demo to make that demo be specific to what they're trying to do. Just let them know as you go through the demo that the store is flexible, that the design is flexible, and that it can definitely be built to suit what they need. And leave them with a link so they can go demo it again after you leave and kind of play around with it. So giving them that access is a really great way to allow them to continue that experience. So in our website, we have a page called Distributor Sales Tools, and this is an amazing resource in our website. So you can find a lot of tools in that link for you to build presentations for your clients. So first off, we have weekly 20-minute demos of the storefront. We have demo stores that you can look for in there and share with your client to go through a store like we were just talking about. We have sales sheets and digital content and presentations and videos and all kinds of good stuff. And we have these recorded webinars in there as well. So Distributor Sales Tools is a bevy of useful information to help educate you and give you tools so that you can successfully present a company store to your client. So you present the demo, you go through the store, you leave them with a link, they play around with it, and they call you up and they say, this is great, this is just what we need, let's do it, let's get started with this company store. So then you say, cool, what's next? So now it's time to build your store. So now you're going to call us and you're going to say, all right, my customer bought off, what's next? So the first thing we're going to ask you is, we've got a couple options for you. Do you want to build and design and do this store on your own, or do you want to have us do it for you? If you do it on your own, we're always going to give you training. You can design it on your own. You can add your products. You can add your payments. You can add your features. We're going to teach you how to do it, and you've got all the tools in there to do it on your own. It's very intuitive. Or you can send us all the information. We'll be happy to do it for you. We even have a turnkey store that's going to include setup and design, so that we'll do a lot of the store for you. So either way, you'll be able to get busy in there and get in there yourself, or have us get in there and start building that store for your client. As I said, system training is always included. No matter what, once you get a store going and launched, you're the one that's kind of running it. You're the captain of that castle, so or the king of the castle rather. So we're going to give you training, we're going to show you the lay of the land back there, and we're going to help you as you need help to understand how to manage your store moving forward or build it out of the gate. We always have a lot of resource and tools too to help with every step of this. So from the beginning, from the sales and marketing support, we've got those distributor resource tools. You can always call us if you want us to help you demo to a client. We're always happy to do that with you via GoToMeeting online. Once you're ready to build a store, we've got great design services and support and training, as we mentioned. So from the sales side to the support side and everything in between, we've got a wonderful team, and we're always happy to help you. So call us, email us, contact us. We're always happy to help. So I'm going to hand it back over to Lucy and let her talk through this slide with you, and then we'll get to some questions.
All right. So while we're getting questions coming in, I just want to give out some of our information here. There's our phone number there, so you can give us a call anytime. And then there's also marketing@brightsource.com. It's an email address that is monitored by multiple people, and so we try and get back to you within the hour and direct your email wherever it needs to go, so you can email us about anything there. And as Tanya mentioned, our website is a really great resource. All the resources that we talked about today with the distributor sales tools, and you know, the blog, webinar, all those things, we'll send you the link to everything. So we've got a few questions coming in about that, about the distributor sales tools, and so we will absolutely send you guys the follow-up link to that. That way you have it, and you can refer back to those pages anytime you need to. And then I do want to give some information about our next webinar. So we host these webinars every month. We kind of cover a broad range of topics. Tanya did mention the weekly demos, so we have those every week where we walk you through a storefront and how to, you can watch them to learn how to demo a company store to your client. It's a really good resource for that. But then we also like to cover a more broader topic each month and dive a little bit deeper into the information, because the weekly demos are rather short. They only last about 20 minutes or so. So our next webinar is how to get all of your clients ordering online. We have quite a bit of tools that you can offer now, and you know, there's really not too many reasons why all of your clients shouldn't be ordering online. They do everything online, and ordering their promotional products is just another thing that they are expecting. And so we actually get into, we're actually going to get into you know, some kind of case studies that we have that we've come across. There's some problems that distributors have come to us, and some really unique, interesting topics that, that you can, that we can kind of get into to help you guys get a little bit more creative instead of just the traditional forms. And so there's a lot of different ways that you can get your clients ordering online. And so that's what we're going to dive into next month. And with that, let's just go ahead and jump into the questions for today. So one of the first questions that we got is, can we add a domain name, a custom domain name to the store?
Sure. Yeah, definitely. With a store, you get a domain name, but if you have a custom domain name that you have, you can absolutely plug that into your store, and that'll be the domain name then that the store can be accessed with, and that'll show up in the URL address bar across the entire store as well. So the answer is yes.
Okay, and we have quite a few questions about pricing, and so this one's kind of a little bit more broader, so I'm going to go ahead and ask this one, but if you asked a question about pricing, this will pertain to everybody. Do you have a structured pricing, or is it case by case?
Yes, we have a structured pricing, and yes, it's case by case. Our pricing is really fairly straightforward, but each store is a little bit unique. So the needs of what you are doing within that particular store, whether it's a different level of store than another, or whether we're building it or you're building it, whether you have integration needs in a store or not, some of those variables will definitely affect the price of a store. But our pricing is very straightforward as well. So we'll follow up with you directly with some information on pricing, and then we can pick up that conversation and get into details on what it is you need and give you some really structured pricing around that.
Okay, and what criteria do you recommend for determining the cost of the store to my client?
What criteria do you recommend for determining the cost of the store to my client? I think that this goes back to what we were talking about a little bit about your client and what it is they're asking for. So if your client is asking for a company store from you, I think you need to determine if there is enough spend in that client's ordering with you, both in and out of a store, to warrant providing that company store to them at no cost, or you're still going to be successful with that store, then I think that that's what you consider. That being said, if that's not the case, if they're not spending much with you, or maybe you have no idea what they're going to spend with you, maybe you write some verbiage into your agreement with them that says, we'll cover the cost of the store as long as the spend or the sales in the store reaches X number of dollars each month or each year, or whatever the case might be. So I think that really that answer to that question is really specific to the details of that particular program. So please feel free to call us. We'll really be happy to hash through this in more detail with you when we can get a little more information.
Okay. And we have, can I get user-friendly content to use for my presentations? And yes, that's exactly what, I'll just go ahead and answer this really quick. We do have the distributor sales tool portion of our website, and there's a link to that in your handout, and we'll also follow up. That'll also be in the follow-up link, but there is a lot of content on there where our information is completely left off of it. Our logo is left off. It's written directed to the end user. So like if it was coming from you to your client instead of us to you. So we have a lot of user-friendly content that you can absolutely pop your logo on and your contact information on and send off to your client. So yes, we can absolutely get that to you. So let's get into the next question. If I want to build a demo store for my clients, can I add their logo to the store?
Oh, yeah, sure. Absolutely. I oftentimes recommend don't just put your logo on a store that's not designed for your client. There's a lot more to design than a logo. Your client's branding is a lot more than just a logo and a couple colors. So give us a call. We'll be happy to talk through this with you, but you can absolutely build a custom demo store for your client with their branding on it so that you can present a demo store to them fully built out for them that will wow them, which is, of course, what you want to do.
Is there a list of questions available that we can use to ask customers on what we need to start the store build, almost like a checklist.
Yeah, I think we kind of talked about that a little bit too. We have a discovery document that is some great general questions that you can go through and ask with your client to really kind of help prompt that conversation that we were talking about and get more information from them as to what it is they want out of the company store. So we'll follow up with you and send you that discovery document to give you the list of questions.
Okay, and it's also in the handout that's available today, so be sure to check that out. I see that you have different store options available. How do I know which one to start and which one to charge my client for?
So there are a couple of different ways you can handle this. First off, our website, brightstores.com, has, under company stores, there's a feature comparison list, and there's a feature section that'll really allow you to go through and see exactly which features are available in which store levels. We have a basic store and a regular company store, which is also known as our advanced store. So most of the time, I think you're going to need a regular advanced store, but once in a while, you'll be good with a basic store too. So that feature comparison page can really go down what's available where to help you determine what they need. But you can also call us. You know, sometimes it's easier to just give us a call and say, hey, can you help? And we can work, talk through it in a few minutes and be sure you're heading in the right direction.
Okay, well, we're getting close to the time, and so we're going to go ahead and wrap it up right there. So if you asked a question and we didn't get to it, then we'll absolutely follow up with you in an email. So don't worry, we've got your question here, but we are getting close to the end of our time. So thank you guys so much for joining us today. Be on the lookout for our follow-up emails and the invite to next month's webinar. So thank you again for joining us, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day.